to true crime with strategic eyes.
Strategic back again. You guys are getting a lot of live shows from me. I think it's our third live show in like the last 3 hours. It's insane. But listen, we got to stay on top of the story. We're definitely tracking this Charlie Kirk assassination, and we want to get to the bottom of it. We want to be a part of the solution, ladies and gentlemen. So guess what? The news just released, breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, they have released pictures, photos of the alleged gunman. I want to go ahead and bring that in for you guys so we can definitely get up to speed. The Dragnet is closing, ladies and gentlemen. It's only a matter of time until this guy is taken into custody.
Hi, I'm Diane Macedo. Let's get right to breaking news. The FBI is asking for help identifying this man who they are calling a person of interest in the shooting of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Sources tell ABC News ammunition found with the rifle was engraved with messages about transgender issues and anti-fascist ideology. Meanwhile, President Trump says he plans to speak to Kirk's family this afternoon. Our Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas has more on that. Pierre, what's the latest on this photo?
Diane, well, here's what we have and here's what we know. This picture is being put out by the FBI and law enforcement because they believe this is a person that they very much want to talk to. I'm told by sources it's from surveillance footage in and around the area where the shooting took place. And you can see this appears to be a male person wearing sunshades and a baseball cap.
Now, listen, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. Within an hour of this being released, they know who this guy is. You want to know how they're going to know who he is? Because his girlfriend, if he has one, is probably not of the ideology that he is and probably would not condone his actions. His boyfriend, if he has one, probably does not condone his actions. But more importantly, you know who turned you in first? Do you know who turns you in first? It's your parents. Somebody said it's a $100,000 reward. Beyond that, it's your parents. Right now, his parents is watching the news because this is national news. And it doesn't matter how many pairs of shades you have on, how low your hat is. Your parents know you from the tip of your big toe to the last hair that's standing on the top of your head. His parents are going to be the ones to turn him in. Why? Because his parents, number one, most likely will not have agreed with what he did. And number two, they want him to be taken in safely so that he doesn't have the opportunity to maybe take his own life or law enforcement take his life. I guarantee you his parents have already gotten on the phone and said, FBI, that's my son. That's my son. The FBI is interested in knowing where he's at right now. Pretty sure at this time, they have a good idea who he is. They just need to know where he is. Let's keep going.
The FBI very much wants to talk to that person, and they're asking for the public's help in identifying this person so that they can get access to them and begin to interview them. Again, they want the public's help to identify this person so that they can talk to him. This person is being described to me as a person of interest, someone they very much want to talk to. And Diane, what you see unfolding, what you literally see unfolding is what we were discussing yesterday, is that the surveillance footage was going to be the key to the case. That's what my law enforcement sources were telling me last night. They believed that when they canvassed the campus and the areas around the campus, that they would be getting images of the suspect moving about.
Right. What he should have did was put the COVID mask on. Somebody in the chat said, why can't they use cell phone data? Well, cell phone data is pretty much worthless in this type of case until you find a person and they happen to have a cell phone. So number one, we don't know if he had a cell phone on him. There's no guarantee that he had a cell phone on him. Number two, what was at that event? It was 3,000 people. That's 3,000 cell phones. You won't know whose phone belongs to who. Now, if you're in a wooded area and a crime is committed, then they could dump a tower and see how many people's in the tower during or around the time of the crime. I get it. But when you're in a stadium type, arena type atmosphere with 3,000 people who have their cell phone, you won't be able to differentiate who's the shooter and who's not. It's not possible. Now, after you find him, if he has a cell phone on him, then you could dump his phone and you could use that corroborative evidence to show that he was there at that time and date. But that's if you find him with a cell phone, that's when that evidence would be relevant towards the case against him. Right now, cell phone is useless. 3,000 people had cell phones, all stacked on top of each other. Let's keep going.
A person of interest moving about, I should say. In this case, this is someone that they think could have information about the attack, and they want to talk to this person.
Yeah, we heard authorities saying this morning that they had good video, in their words, and now it looks like we're seeing some of those images come out. Aaron, what more are you hearing about this rifle that they say they think is the murder weapon, and then that ammunition?
It's a bolt-action rifle that was recovered, and there was a spent cartridge.
Now check this out. The fact that he got a bolt-action rifle to carry this out shows that he knew exactly what he was doing. See, some people would think that some type of AR variant would be used. No, no, no. He used the perfect weapon for the crime. A bolt-action rifle with a scope, most likely a tripod, or he could have used his forearm as a tripod to kind of brace it. That is exactly the weapon you would use for this type of crime at the distance that he was looking to carry that crime out at. He took a lot of planning to do this. There's a lot of planning. I would not be surprised, ladies and gentlemen, if we find out that there's a cabal that's behind him. Look that up. It's an SAT word. I would not be surprised. He did not do this by himself. Let's keep going.
Still in the chamber. There were also unspent cartridges, and when they looked at them, they discovered what law enforcement officials described as writing containing transgender and anti-fascist ideology. That's how law enforcement officials described it. We don't know what that means, and law enforcement officials haven't made clear what that means. They are still working to determine what that means and how it might figure into their investigation, and they are still working on analysis of both the bullets and the gun itself.
All right, so PR asked me in the chat, strategic, do you think regular citizens should be allowed to carry whatever he used? This is nuts. Well, you're asking the wrong guy, because I am a very big supporter of the Second Amendment. I think that people should be armed. They should be able to possess arms. But that rifle, a bolt-action rifle, is the worst rifle to use if you want to engage in some type of mass shooting, number one. Number two, they're rarely used in these type of crimes. The majority of weapons that are used in these type of crimes are handguns and AR variant style guns. Bolt actions are rarely used. They're used for hunting, basically. I can't even remember the last time that I've seen a news reporting of somebody being unalived by a weapon and a bolt action was used. It's just that this person knew what gun to use. They weren't posing. They weren't being fancy. They weren't acting out of their league. This person had training. This person had common sense. This person, common sense toward what to use for the job, not real common sense, that is. They knew exactly what they were doing. So I would not restrict this gun if I was one of those people who would want to restrict people's gun rights, because this gun is primarily used for hunting, and it's rarely, I mean truly rarely ever used to commit a crime. Very rarely ever used to commit a crime. We could pick 1,000 other guns that you could say are regularly used in crimes. This one is not one of them. But definitely not the right person to ask, because I believe in the Second Amendment. Let's keep going.
I want to bring in Justice Department reporter Alex Mallon, too, because, Alex, earlier officials revealed some other evidence they found in addition to this gun and ammunition and these images. What's the latest on that stuff, what they've gathered at the scene?
Well, yeah, they said that they made substantial developments in their investigation. They said that they were able to track the path that the shooter took. They say that he perched himself on that rooftop at 11:52. That was about 30 minutes before the shot was taken at Charlie Kirk, that fatal shot. And then they traced his route that he took. He jumped off the roof of that building, they say, and then went into a nearby wooded area where obviously you heard Aaron there talking about he appears to have placed that rifle wrapped in a towel and then went through the neighborhood. They said that they spoke to multiple witnesses or neighbors in that neighborhood to try and get their Ring camera doorbell footage to see if they could further track his path that he took after carrying out that shooting. But obviously, based on the comments at that news conference, we heard from the FBI official there, they said that they did not anticipate having to release any more footage of this individual. And now we hear, obviously, Pierre saying that they have released those 2 pictures. So it's unclear whether that means that they have any less confidence in them.
Well, so basically people are asking in the chat if it's possible he could be trans or something to that effect. I don't know. But what I do know is right now he's presenting to be a male. And number 2, if I would guess, it would be a biological male transitioning to a female if he was in fact trans, because those shoulders, I don't know of any woman that could have shoulders like that. That's biological male shoulders. Absolutely. And the way his chest sinks in like that, that's biological, scrawny, skinny guy, male shoulders and chest. So, I mean, even if you have like the chest surgery that some female to male transgendered people choose to have, your chest and your shoulders would not look like that. That's definitely a male. So, but it's a really good point that if he is trans, if he identifies as trans, which there's no evidence that is. I mean, just because he has trans ideology and anti-fascist ideology on his bullets doesn't mean that he's trans. It just means he sympathizes with these causes in a very demented way, because I'm pretty sure no decent trans person, of which most people are decent human beings, right, would support this type of action in support of their cause. But either way, if he was trans and if he is trans, then it's possible that he could look differently now. It's possible. He could look very different now, maybe not even recognizable if he has the opportunity to put on a disguise, if we can say those words respectfully. Let's keep going.
It had 3 hours ago, or less progress made towards tracking this individual down, Diane.
And again, as Pierre pointed out, what we're seeing here on the screen are images now just put out by the FBI of a person they're calling a person of interest, someone they want to talk to in relation to this shooting. And Jacqueline Lee is there on the campus right now. Jacqueline, what's it like there?
Hey, Diane, so it feels very heavy. We're seeing flowers are being put out as we're starting to see this growing memorial outside the university here. And the biggest thing we're hearing from students is it was just seeing the violence play out. So many people, there were thousands of people, more than 3,000 at the event, and they saw the bullet enter Charlie's neck and the blood splatter everywhere. People say that has stuck with them, that has scarred them, and it is traumatizing. And on top of that, the shooter is not yet in custody. So there is huge fear as to what could be next. People just don't know because unfortunately, whoever did this is still out there. But as we heard, there is hope given that authorities have now released a photo of this person of interest and that they have recovered the rifle in the woods in a towel. But the biggest thing is figuring out who did this, why did they do this? But on campus, it does.
So I'm curious, like, how he actually came into the university with the rifle. Was it open carried? Is Utah open carry state? I'm wondering. Did he have it in a rifle bag? I just bought a rifle bag off of Amazon during Prime. It's a really nice rifle bag, but it's a rifle bag. You can tell it's a rifle bag. Like, I want to know, did he disassemble it and then reassembled it? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm curious to know how he got it in, because they're saying that they found it in the woods in a towel. Did he bring it in with the towel and that's the same towel he discarded it in? I got questions. Big shout out to everybody who's watching. We have 265 people in the chat right now. Please do hit that like button. We just have 73 likes. Somebody just gave us a like. We're at 74. Please give us a like so that we can get into the algorithm. We can get shown to a wider audience. We're breaking a lot of this. We're staying on top of this story. We need your support so that this channel could grow. Let's do it.
Feel very heavy. Diane.
And our White House correspondent Karen Travers is monitoring the response from the president. And Karen, President Trump says he plans to speak with Kirk's family this afternoon. He also announced he'll award Kirk with the highest civilian honor in the United States. What's the latest there?
That's the Presidential Medal of Freedom, Diane, and the president said today during remarks at the Pentagon for the September 11th Remembrance Ceremony that he will be giving that posthumously to Charlie Kirk. He said he'll be announcing soon when that ceremony will take place, but predicted it would be a very large crowd for that honor for Charlie Kirk, who of course is a very influential conservative political activist, somebody who was very important for the president getting reelected and having this second term here at the White House. He told reporters he would be speaking to Kirk's family this afternoon. He said his wife is a wonderful woman. Diane, he was asked about the investigation, and he did not have much to say. He said pretty much what you're seeing on TV is what is happening. What you're seeing in the news is what it is. He said there is a manhunt taking place, and we'll see what happens. And Diane, he finished his very brief remarks by telling reporters, we hope we get him.
So, Pierre, what are you watching for next in this investigation?
Well, I
personally think that he had help, ladies and gentlemen. I think he had help. I don't think he did this by himself. I also think that they may have to go and revisit the two people that they took into custody. One of them had an airsoft gun. The other one was basically making statements as though they did something, saying, I think it was the old guy saying, if I could do it, I'd do it again. I just think it's too much of a coincidence that you have these folks making a clear commotion, diverting law enforcement attention away from the actual shooter, giving the shooter the time to actually get away. Now the shooter's in the wind. I don't even know if this guy's still in Utah. We don't even know if this guy's still in the country. It seems like this was a coordinated action. And if it was just a trans thing, I'd be like, okay. But when you add the anti-fascist stuff, the Antifa, that's a network. That's a terrorist organization, in my opinion. They have a network of people. I saw what they did in New York during the BLM riots. How black folks would be marching peacefully, and then here comes these black bloc people dressed in all black, breaking windows and breaking cars, and then running away, and then everybody's looking like, was it those peaceful protesters that did that? When it wasn't. It wasn't. It was these terrorist people trying to incite violence, trying to incite riots. So this is a coordinated group of people who live in anarchy. In fact, many of them would classify themselves as anarchists. So the fact that he has anti-fascist stuff written in it could mean nothing. It could just mean that he thinks that, the views of Charlie Kirk are fascist views, or he could be aligned with some of these organizations out here, and they could have aided him in planning, executing, and escaping capture from this whole ordeal. I think it's possible. Just out of coincidence, one guy is taken into custody with an airsoft rifle that is harmless, for the most part, but certainly was not used against Charlie Kirk. And another guy, an old guy, is screaming, shoot me, arrest me, I don't care. If I could do it again, I'd do it. If you could do what, my friend? If you could do what? There was nothing but pandemonium and anarchy after Kirk was taken out. Why would this guy have the wherewithal to now decide that he wants to say, if I could do it again, I'd do it, like he's the shooter? Unless, of course, he was the decoy. And if he's the decoy, that means this was organized. That means we've got a bigger problem on our hands than just finding the shooter, ladies and gentlemen. We've got what's called a cell, a terrorist cell here in America. Big shout out to Ms. Phillips, who says, Miss Liz Phillips, who's $10 super chat, says, I enjoy your channel and your knowledge. Thank you for all you do. You're very intelligent. Please convince my wife of that, because she thinks I'm an idiot. But I appreciate you immensely. Thank you so much for the super chat. Let's keep going.
Clear, and I want to use the language that they're using in what was posted online, just so our viewers and who are watching will know precisely what the FBI is asking for. Quote, we're asking for the public's help identifying this person of interest in connection with the fatal shooting of Charlie Kirk at the Utah Valley University. And they give a 1-800 call FBI digital media tips, https://t.co as the place to reach out with information. So they're obviously hoping that there's somebody in the public that will recognize this person, know who he is, and report them a name so they can go find this person to talk to.
All right, Aaron Katursky, Jacqueline Lee,
All
Alex
right, so
Mallon,
we'll go
Karen
ahead and
Travers,
bring
and Pierre
in,
Thomas. Thank you.
Let's bring this in over here. Play this for a little bit. Read the articles. Do it.
Of the shooter. Starting at 11:52 a.m., the subject arrived on campus, shortly away from campus. We have tracked his movements onto the campus.
How did he arrive from campus? Was he dropped off in a car? Talk to me. How did he arrive? They have a whole lot more than what they're sharing with us, ladies and gentlemen. Keep that in mind. They have a whole lot more than what they're sharing. Let's keep going.
Up to the roof, across the roof to a shooting location. After the shooting,
when I went through menopause, I was upset about what was happening.
Yo, they got to stop it with these commercials. Are you kidding me? In the middle of this guy talking, put the commercials before or after. You just put the commercial right in the middle of this man speaking. That's crazy.
Movements as he moved to the other side of the building, jumped off of the building, and fled off of the campus and into a neighborhood. Our investigators have worked through those neighborhoods, contacting anybody they can with doorbell cameras, witnesses, and have thoroughly worked through those communities, trying to identify any leads. We do have good video footage of this individual.
That's good.
We are not going to release that at this time. We are working through some technologies and some ways to identify this individual. If we are unsuccessful, we will reach out to you as the media, and we will push that publicly to help us identify them. But we are confident in our abilities right now, and we would like to move forward in a manner that keeps everyone safe and moves this process appropriately.
All right, interesting stuff. Big shout out to Auntie Ray, who says, "That's strategic. Thank you for your Patreon coverage. Also, I hate what happened, but it helps to analyze it from the angles you provided, man." Well, thank you so much for supporting the channel and being a member of the Patreon and a member of the YouTube membership. So you're pulling double duty, and we do appreciate that, and it does not go unnoticed. All right, let's go ahead. What do we got going on here?
Thursday Night Football on Prime is back. It's on.
So annoying. We're gonna have to use that Brave browser. What you got here? Okay. We got police. Doorbell camera captures police racing to scene of Charlie. Oh, they doing too much. I thought it was
Let's get into your top stories. A man is found.
I thought it was something more probative. Anyway, let's keep going. Somebody just gave us some coffee. Thank you so much for supporting the channel with the coffee.
Colleen leaving a classroom. She's walking.
Let's see here. All right. No, I thought that was a little bit more
We were able
probative.
to track the movements of the shooter.
All right, let's keep going.
To preserve the ideals of this country, the freedoms of this country. And instead, we find ourselves today hunting a murderer.
Hold on.
And why hasn't the shooter been found yet? Now, this, of course, is still a very active investigation, but here is what we know. The 31-year-old husband and father of 2 young kids was killed doing what he's known for, debating college students on campus. He was at Utah Valley University, which was set to be the first stop of a Turning Point USA campus tour. Turning Point is a conservative organization that was co-founded by Kirk when he was 18 years old. He's known for opening up a dialogue and entering into debates with students who have different views. Kirk was responding to a member of the audience when a single shot was fired from afar. That bullet hit Kirk's neck. Utah's governor is calling this a political assassination. We spoke with a former New York State senator and former Homeland Security advisor for New York about why it is taking investigators a long time to find the killer.
A rifle sound, sound of a report was heard, and yet nobody was able to identify an individual, which most likely means that the individual was shooting from concealment and maybe had some way to suppress or to hide the flash of the gun. And again, indicating that this is a sophisticated individual. One shot hitting the target from 200 meters away and then escaping without anybody seeing them.
All right, real quick, I want to go to Turner Point USA's headquarters. Just so you guys can see. There's a growing memorial there. I just wanted to show you guys what's happening at the headquarters of his organization. My understanding, it was $100 million organization. This dude who started debating at 18 years old with no formal college training, and I'm not saying this as a supporter of his, not at all. I'm just saying as a human, because I admire people when they do big things. Even if I don't agree with you, I still admire you for creating things. And I want to one day create things. I want to use my platform to give a voice to the voiceless. That's my goal. So this man was able to create $100 million organization that employed over 4,000 people. 4,000 people. $100 million operating budget. 4,000 employees. That is definitely something to be proud about.
Oh yeah, there's the fucking seat right there.
All right. Let's go back over here real quick.
Those are the hallmarks of a professional.
President Donald Trump was close with Kirk. He said yesterday was a dark day for America. Trump has vowed to find whoever is responsible for Kirk's death and hold them accountable. Kirk and Turning Point encouraged young Republicans to get to the polls on
The FBI has just released this photo of a person of interest in connection with the horrific killing of Charlie Kirk from yesterday. And this comes as they provided new updates and evidence today as they race to find this assassin. The conservative influencer was in the middle of debating a member of the public during an outdoor event at Utah Valley University when a single bullet ripped through his neck. Chaos, confusion, a shot that has been heard around the world. We are going to break down what we just heard with former FBI and CIA agent Tracy Walder. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Charlie Kirk, the co-founder of Turning Point USA, a stalwart friend to some of the most well-positioned people in our government, and yes, a controversial online presence with millions of followers, is dead at the age of 31. This is a dark day for our country. I talked about this on social media yesterday. I'm going to say it again. We cover some of the worst evils in this country almost daily. And I was still sickened and shocked and disgusted by what I saw yesterday.
Yo, anybody with common sense, it doesn't matter what your political ideology is, has to agree that this is unacceptable and this is disgusting. You have to admit it. So the fact that we see people who are just doing the opposite of what good common sense would tell you to do shows you we have a problem in this country. We have a problem, you know, and I hope that some of these people, and I'm not a big fan of it, the whole, you know, retribution stuff, but I hope some of these people will have to be held accountable for their actions. That's all I got to say about that. You know, you should not be able to have the anonymity of the internet allow you to say horrible things. I think you should be, you know, everything I say, I stand 10 toes down on, you know? You can't be coming on here talking about you're happy he's gone and all that stuff and be my doctor. I don't want you treating me or my kids if you will come on the internet and say you're happy somebody's dead when your whole life is supposed to be dedicated to protecting and cherishing life. That doesn't make sense to me, you know? So I don't know, man. I don't want to, you know, I don't even want to get involved with the whole mob justice thing. I'm just saying that some people are saying some horrible things that just doesn't make any sense, ladies and gentlemen. And everybody who has common sense says, wow, you know what, man, that guy was a polarizing guy, but this shouldn't have happened to him. That's common sense.
And I just tell everybody out there, please think about and
you know,
pray.
Some people who are supporters of him are losing their, you know, their common sense marbles too. You know, I had to address somebody in the chat, you know, earlier where somebody said, I'm not a fan of Charlie Kirk, but his death was horrendous, and people should not lose their lives over their political opinions. And to me, that is a very good statement if you don't support Charlie Kirk. And then somebody who supports Charlie Kirk said, I don't understand people like you who said, oh, you're not a fan of him. What is there not to be a fan of? He's a family man. No, you idiot. You know that that's not the only thing that Charlie Kirk was about. He's not just about his family. He had political beliefs and political opinions, and it's perfectly okay for somebody to disagree with those political beliefs and opinions so long as they maintain their humanity and can say, I disagreed with his political beliefs, but I certainly respect his humanity and his right to live, and the fact that we live in a country where we're supposed to respect freedom of speech. So if you're on that spectrum where you can't even accept a conciliatorial tone of somebody giving their condolences who did not like Charlie, then you got a problem too. You too stuck in your feelings. And like I told you guys from the jump, since we started covering this, it's both sides. It certainly is both sides. Let's keep going.
For Charlie Kirk's family and friends, because they are now left with the new reality of pain and loss and confusion that victims' family members deal with every day in this country.
All right, so people are saying what his name might allegedly be. I'm not comfortable saying what the name is until I have some confirmation, all right? But apparently the name is out there. I'm going to do some digging while this plays to see if we can get some confirmation.
This married father of two, he is credited with rallying young Republican voters during the 2024 presidential election. He had this famous debate-style events at colleges around the country, drawing praise from some, criticism from others, and this was his final one. It was during one of those college events on Wednesday that Kirk was shot and killed. And again, we are about to get into what the FBI just said, but it appears, based on their comments, that this may be a lone gunman who was atop a roof near the heart of Utah Valley University's campus in Orem. And we are learning, again, new details about that shooter right now from public safety officials and the FBI. We are going to show you the brand new press footage, and I'm going to be bringing on former FBI and CIA agent Tracy Walder to break down what these new developments mean, the potential evidence, how they're going to analyze it. Are we closer to actually catching the suspected shooter? We'll talk about it. But here's what we know. You had event goers who were lined up in an outdoor area to ask this conservative activist questions about things like gun violence and gender identity. And Kirk has this often, these answers that are booming over a microphone at the Quad. There's a lot of political excitement there. But again, controversial figure. And the New York Times reports that 3,000 people had turned out to see Kirk speak as he started another round of college tours. This one was called the American Comeback. Now, Kirk was seated underneath
I never saw behind the scenes because, like I said, his shows would constantly be pushed into my feed. I've never seen the behind the scenes. That's like a real production. That's a real production. He's got multiple cameramen, staff members. You're like, wow, he really built himself a little bit of an empire.
Canopy. He was surrounded by these metal barricades with his own personal security nearby. We can have a separate conversation, and maybe we will, about potentially the lack of security. But as seen in videos that were posted to social media, a member of the public standing just a few feet away was questioning Kirk about recent gun violence in America.
So, do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years?
Too many.
It's 5. Okay, now 5 is a lot, right? I'm going to give you some credit. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence.
And at that moment, there was the sound of a single gunshot, and Charlie Kirk fell. If you've seen the videos online, they are awful. We have seen this video. It was taken by people in the crowd. It shows the moment that a bullet literally tore through Kirk's neck, sending him sprawling to the ground. It is horrific. He was carried to a nearby vehicle. He was rushed to the hospital. It was only a few miles away, but he was pronounced dead. And Utah officials would later say that they believe...
I just now realized what I saw. Because when I first saw this video, I focused on the police officer saying, get back. And I was laughing. And I said in the jaw, I was like, man, good luck trying to push a crowd back during this type of hysteria. I just noticed that the reason why the officer said get back is because they were loading Charlie Kirk into the car, into the SUV. And that's why he was saying get back, because he's trying to kind of secure the area while Charlie Kirk is being removed to the hospital. I get it now. I get it. And you know what? I'm going to give you an example of nuance. And I'm not saying that I agree with it, but I actually saw this debate. So somebody in the chat said that Charlie Kirk is the guy that said that he didn't want African Americans to be pilots, and something about women getting masters. But I'll just focus on the first part of that statement. And it's nothing but love, okay? It's nothing but love. I'm not trying to denigrate anybody. But this is how we kind of misconstrue people's positions. So I actually heard that, and I went and did my own research, because that's what I do. I don't ever take for face value what somebody tells me. I go do my own research. And when I actually watched, and this was when Charlie Kirk was alive, when I actually watched what he said, it was a discussion about DEI. And he was basically saying that he didn't want a person to be in the pilot seat who's not qualified to be there, who's only there because they're checking off certain boxes. Now, in no way am I having a conversation about whether DEI is right or wrong. I'm not telling you guys none of that stuff. I'm just telling you what this man said. So he did not say that he did not want black people to be pilots, period. He didn't say that. That would be an insanely racist remark. He may have said racist things before. I'm not defending this guy. I'm not defending Charlie Kirk. I saw a comment in the comment section, and I'm just telling you what was literally said in reference to that comment in the comment section. So his statement was that he did not support having people in these positions who are not qualified to be there and were simply there based off the color of their skin. I leave that up to you guys to figure that out. I'm about giving the voiceless to little kids. You guys could talk about the politics on your own time, but that's not what he said. He did not say, I don't want black people flying planes at all, or black people shouldn't fly planes. That's not what Charlie Kirk said. It's not what he said. What he said was a whole lot more nuanced. And unfortunately, I think that's something that we've lost in our society, nuance, because we hear with our feelings and not with our ears. We think with our hearts and not with our brains. We have our convictions and the things that we believe in, and oftentimes our convictions cloud our logic because somebody says something, but we interpret what we think they said rather than absorbing and processing what they actually said. And I see that happen a lot on my channel when people think they believe what I say instead of what I actually say. And it's just something that's just a part of our public lexicon. We think with our hearts and not with our heads. We process information with our hearts and not with our brains. We assume what we think somebody means rather than literally taking what they're saying for face value. Anyway, let's keep going.
That this was a targeted attack, one bullet, one victim. Now, people at the event, they scattered in all directions. They were screaming. They were falling over one another. They were trying to figure out where the shots were coming from and if more bullets would be fired. The shooter was reportedly on the roof of a nearby campus building, the Losi Center. It's about 150 to 200 yards away from the gathering on the quad. And an unverified video that was posted to social media, it appears to show a person laying down on top of the building. Now, law enforcement has not confirmed this video, nor have they said this figure on the roof is the shooter. But let's talk about what they did say, okay? This is new.
We're going to end it soon, but I just want to make sure PR gets an opportunity to respond because I like PR. She actually won a shirt and sent us pictures. She looked very nice in the strategic eyes gear that we have. So if we ever make it big time and we need some models, we'll ask PR if she's willing to, if we have some money, maybe we'll give a little dollars. And if we don't, we'll ask her if she's willing to donate her pictures to model for us. So PR is a very nice person, but since I addressed a statement she made, I think it's only fair that I allow her to have a rebuttal. And so she says, as strategic guys, the quote that he says, and I'm not looking at this quote, but this is what she's saying the quote is if I see, of what Charlie Kirk said is, if I see, I'm sorry, just lost the whole stream. I hope I can find it now, because sometimes when the stream disappears, here we go, it's still here. If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. And then she said that upset her when she heard that. Once again, though, he was talking about DEI and how when you do have DEI initiatives, everybody's going to question the qualifications of people who are in certain positions because they don't know whether the person got it because they actually worked hard for it, or if they got it because they were basically filling up a corporate box of having a certain amount of people of certain ethnicities and genders and races and creeds in certain positions to make themselves look like they are, I don't know. You figure that last part out. So once again, it's nuance. Is it a nice statement to make? Probably not. Do I agree with Charlie Kirk? I didn't agree with him for a lot of things that he said. But when you do your research and you look it up and you understand that that statement wasn't made in a vacuum, there was a larger argument that they were having, a larger debate. And when you listen to his debate, you don't have to agree with it, but you understand why he would make a statement like that, even if it was not artfully said. They were talking about DEI, and DEI is basically hiring people, allegedly. I don't really know what DEI is. I'm not going to wade in those waters. But people are saying that it's about hiring people based off of their demographics rather than their qualifications. And that's why he made that statement. But we do appreciate PR, and we love her, and it's all love. We're having a conversation as adults right now. And the only reason why we're talking about these things is because this true crime story happens to revolve intimately with politics and with what's happening in our country socially. So it's almost like you can't talk about Charlie Kirk's assassination without talking about why he got assassinated in the first place. And why he was assassinated is a touchy, divisive subject. And it's unfortunate, but that's a reality. 2 more minutes of this and we'll get out of here. Okay, guys?
Utah's Commissioner of Public Safety and the FBI special agent in charge of the investigation provided brand new updates Thursday morning about the gunman. And that is what we want to talk about right now. So what have they learned about him so far? How was he able to get away? Take a look.
Through all that work last night, we were able to make a few breakthroughs. We were able to track the movements of the shooter. Starting at 11:52 a.m., the subject arrived on campus, shortly away from campus. We have tracked his movements onto the campus, through the stairwells, up to the roof, across the roof to a shooting location. After the shooting, we were able to track his movements as he moved to the other side of the building, jumped off of the building, and fled off of the campus and into a neighborhood. Our investigators have worked through those neighborhoods, contacting anybody they can with doorbell cameras, witnesses, and have thoroughly worked through those communities, trying to identify any leads. We do have good video footage of this individual. We are not going to release that at this time. We are working through some technologies and some ways to identify this individual. If we are unsuccessful, we will reach out to you as the media and we will push that publicly to help us identify them. But we are confident in our abilities right now, and we would like to move forward in a manner that keeps everyone safe and moves this process appropriately.
And the FBI also revealed they found the suspected murder weapon.
This morning I can tell you that we have recovered what we believe is the weapon that was used in yesterday's shooting. It is a high-powered bolt-action rifle. That rifle was recovered in a wooded area where the shooter had fled. So the FBI laboratory will be analyzing this.
All right, so basically they told us that they don't know who he is. But this is when they did their press conference earlier this morning. I have confidence that at some point today, not tomorrow, today, somebody's going to call in and say, I know who that guy is. I'm very, very confident that by the end of today, at some point during today, what is today? Today is September 11th, 2025. At some point during today, somebody's going to call in, probably a family member, and they're going to say, I know that guy. His name is John Doe, Jane Doe, whatever you want to say.
Investigators have also collected footwear impression,
let's see here.
A palm print,
let's go to Tatum
and
real
forearm
quick.
Imprints for analysis. Now, I understand there are a lot of questions about motive. I assure you that all leads, tips are being fully investigated. As of this morning, we have received more than 130 tips. We thank the community for that. The FBI has brought every
dismantle
resource to bear, and we will continue to do so throughout the course of this investigation.
Also, this is just coming out.
So Officer Tatum is saying that he knows who the shooter is, that the shooter has been identified. I can't stream. I would never do that in a million years. I can't stream somebody else's live stream. That's crazy. That is super unethical. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I could corroborate that for myself.
From the Wall Street Journal, they're reporting that the ammunition that was used by Charlie Kirk's killer, it may have been engraved with transgender and anti-fascist ideology. If that is true, that makes a potential motivation for this killing a lot more clear, but we will see. We'll get more updates on that. Now, while officials aren't releasing very many details about the shooter's identity, they implied that he was able to blend in with a crowd on a college campus.
So what I'll release about the suspect is suspect blended in well with a college institution. We're not releasing many details right now, and we will soon, but right now we're not. But that individual appears to be of college age. We are confident in our abilities to track that individual. If we're,
so somebody said he's just debunking stuff, that he's not saying who it is. I don't know. I would seriously doubt that any particular YouTuber would know who the identity of this subject is before the FBI releases it. This is going to be something that they're going to keep very, very guarded until they're ready to release it. So I certainly, I doubt it. Let's keep going.
Successful in identifying them immediately.
It's very, very interesting. And the Public Safety Commissioner also pointed out the importance of today's date, right, for American history, September 11th, and how law enforcement is once again coming together with one goal.
Historically, on 9/11, law enforcement has come together as a group to recognize and honor those that sacrificed
to preserve
the ideals of this country.
All right, hold on real quick, because they got the pictures of the gun. Check this one out. This is the weapon right here. I knew he had a scope. I knew it. That's a hunting rifle, basically. I knew he had a scope. That barrel's pretty big. I wonder what it's shooting, what it's chambering. But I knew he had a scope, and he's got a typical hunting rifle. I mean, you could get those for like $300-400 from the gun store. It's nothing spectacular about
We have
that
recovered
weapon.
what we believe is the weapon that was used in yesterday's shooting. It is a high-powered bolt-action rifle. That rifle was recovered in a wooded area where the shooter had fled. We have recovered what we believe is the weapon to be.
All right, let's see something here. I'm trying to see if we can figure out if there's anybody releasing any information. All right, let's keep going.
Freedoms of this country. And instead, we find ourselves today hunting a murderer who chose to violate our rights, the rights of an individual within this country.
Now, again, I'm going to bring on Tracy. We're going to talk about what all this means. But the FBI and other agencies, they are actively working to try to track down this shooter. But there is misinformation, there is misidentification. It has run rampant so far. And just minutes after the shooting, there were details that started circulating online about an arrest. There were images on social media showing an older man being hauled away by multiple people. And soon officials would put out a statement saying that this man was not the shooter. He was arrested. He was arrested for obstruction, but he's not the shooter. And then hours later, FBI Director Kash Patel posted on X, formerly known as Twitter, that the subject for the horrific shooting today that took the life of Charlie Kirk is now in custody. But not long after that, the director kind of clarified, saying the subject in custody has been released after an interrogation by law enforcement. Our investigation continues, and we will continue to release information in the interest of transparency. Now, the Public Safety Commissioner pointed out that those people do not deserve to be targeted in person or online.
Yesterday, during the investigative process, we located a couple of persons of interest. We interviewed those individuals, And after releasing them and after clearing them of being suspects.
All right, real quick, I just wanted to show you guys this Omar guy. We talked about them in the previous live. I want to make sure that you guys see it. So this is the Omar kid. This guy, the day before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, wrote this: Charlie Kirk is coming to my college tomorrow. I really hope someone evaporates him totally. I said eviscerates, but he said evaporates him literally evaporates him. And then he says, let's just say something big will happen tomorrow. Something big will happen tomorrow. And when he did have his page up and you looked him up, he identifies as non-binary and all that good stuff. All right. But the next day, or not even the next day, but a few hours after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, he then came out under a different name and said that he had nothing to do with the unaliving of Charlie Kirk, but he was happy with the outcome. Shows this guy's character. Let's keep going.
They face scrutiny. They face threats. We ask the public to be patient with the investigative process. These individuals were not suspects. They were people of interest. We ask that you do not impose into those people and that investigative process. They don't deserve that harassment for being subject to that.
And that does make you wonder, is that why they are not releasing video of the suspected shooter? We're going to talk about that. Now, there have been makeshift memorials that have sprung up on campus, and some people gathered at the state capitol.
Guys, please hit that like button for me. Hit the like button, support the channel. While we got Law and Crime playing in the background, we're over here scouring the internet to try and find the most up-to-date information for you. So I'm not just here hanging out with you folks, man. I'm literally trying to get you the most up-to-date information at this time. If we don't find anything, then we'll end the show, because we're not just going to keep you for no reason. But we're certainly looking for the most probative things. So please hit that like button, support the channel. Let's get into the algorithm.
In Salt Lake City to remember Charlie Kirk. Others paid tribute at Turning Point USA's headquarters out in Arizona. President Donald Trump, who was one of the first people to confirm that Kirk had indeed died, spoke from the Oval Office Wednesday night.
Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there's never been anyone who was so respected by youth. This is a dark moment for America. Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever, to share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace. It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country.
And by the way, the president just announced that he is giving Charlie Kirk the Medal of Freedom posthumously. Tributes have also poured in on social media. Political advisor Stephen Miller posted on X, "Our hearts are shattered. America has lost one of its..."
I found an even more high definition photo of the shooter. This, like, I haven't seen a better photo, to be honest with you. I'm sure some of you may have, because you guys are much better internet sleuths than me. But this guy is going to get found. His face, his biometric scan is going to be uploaded to every single airport in the nation. Every single airport in the nation. Every single law enforcement out there is going to have a bolo on this guy. I mean, it's so high definition, people thought that he had an American flag on his shirt. I did too for a little bit. He didn't. He doesn't. It's like It's just like a bird shirt, like a bird watcher shirt. This looks like a bird there. Some tropical bird. So this is huge. This is huge. He also does not look like a 17-year-old boy, which is the Omar person claims that they're 17 years old. We have no verification that the Omar person is 17 years old. I just find it suspicious. I find all these things suspicious. I'm not saying that these people are involved. I'm not saying that this Omar cat is involved. But I find it suspicious that you have an individual who's foreshadowing the death of Charlie Kirk, and it comes to pass. I find it suspicious that you have two separate individuals who are making a ruckus and pretending as though they were the shooter, which then allowed the shooter to actually blend in with the crowd and disappear. I find it very suspicious. I don't believe in coincidences. But this is a high definition photo of this guy. It's only a matter of time until he is found. The people closest to him are the ones he has to worry about. It is your mother and your father you have to worry about. They're the ones who's going to turn you in. They're going to turn you in. Let's keep going. Very interesting stuff.
Its greatest champions. A loving family has lost the most extraordinary husband and father. All of us must now dedicate ourselves to defeating the evil that stole Charlie from this world. Again, FBI Director Kash Patel, who was close with Kirk, wrote on his personal X account, "Rest in peace, my friend, conservative titan Charlie Kirk. I am praying for Charlie and his family. His passion for American and fearless leadership inspired millions, and his impact will live on in this movement for generations." Former President Barack Obama posted on X. We don't yet know what motivated the person who shot and killed Charlie Kirk, but this kind of despicable violence has no place in our democracy. Michelle and I will be praying for Charlie's family tonight, especially.
All right, let me go over and bring this over here because I haven't seen this type of footage before of people like actually on. All right. Just for the YouTube gods, we're not showing any violence or anything like that. This is the aftermath. People simply trying to get away from the scene.
What the fuck, dude? He's got shit. Yo, go. Yo, I'm not trying to go next class. Nah, bro. Holy shit, dude. He just got shot, bro. Charlie got shot? Yeah, he's dead, bro.
I want you all to keep in mind that you see all of these adults, you see all of these young people, 95% of them are children in our eyes. Yeah, they think they're adults, but they're children. These are college-age people. These are kids between the age of 18 and 21 for the most part. There are adults there. There are people there in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and even 60s, absolutely. But the vast majority are our children who we've for the first time sent away from home to live on their own and get an education. And this is the devastation that they have to witness, the trauma that they will now carry with them for the rest of their life. Please keep in mind that all these 6'1", 6'2", and all these young ladies with the boobies and all that stuff, they're kids. Don't think that they're grown adults. Oh, they're going to be fine. No, these are kids. And they're going to process this trauma like kids. It's messed up, man. Really messed up.
Yeah, in his throat, bro. He's dead. He's dead, bro. He got shot in the throat, bro. He's dead.
He's dead?
He got shot in the throat. He's dead.
No.
He's dead, bro. I swear.
No, he's dead for sure. Come on. Let's go. Oh, my God.
All right, so we're about to leave soon. I always say that we're going to leave soon, and then I got more for you guys. But I will say, behave yourselves in the chat. And I hate to talk to adults like that. We don't do a political channel. I shouldn't hear people talking about what God Obama prays to. That's nonsense, okay? We don't do that here. And I don't want to speak on it because sometimes I'm a little too terse with my speech and I might insult people. But that's not how we do business here. So leave that stuff alone. I know everybody's hurt. Everybody's upset. People are traumatized. I get it. But this is not that channel. You got to go find that channel. You do that there, and then you'll find that there's a home for you. We're agreeing to disagree, and we're being respectful. Aki doesn't want me to cover this. I cover it because I listened to Charlie Kirk, and I think that this is an attack I'm not a fan. I'm not saying that I follow everything he said, but I did listen to him because I listen to all sides. But I want to cover it because I think this is an attack on our freedom of speech. I think this is an attack on our Constitution. I'm looking at this as a terrorist attack. That's why I'm covering. Aki doesn't want me to cover this. The reason why she don't want me to cover it is because she knows that people can't come into a space and be civil with each other when emotions are high. But I have more faith in you than Aki does. I think we can have these conversations and still be civil with each other and not start pointing fingers at each other and acting with the same vitriol that resulted in this father being taken away from his two beautiful little children and his wife and his mother and his father and his neighbors, everybody who loves him. That anger and hate that puts a young man on a roof and allows him to pull a trigger, it starts in these chat rooms. I guarantee you it started here. But we're going to do everything we can to make sure you understand that's not for here. So you've been warned. A lot of you guys are new to the channel. Let me explain something to you. On True Crime with Strategic, we use the block button with an iron fist. I don't care if you're a Patreon member, a members member. Do you know how many people have been blocked and are still members? It happens. It happens because we have to keep this community civil. We're not here to hurt people. We're here to give a voice to the voiceless. So right now we're talking about Charlie Kirk, but tomorrow we're going to be talking about possibly a child or adult who is a victim of X abuse, and we need to have a space where victims, warriors, and survivors can feel safe to join us on this journey to give a voice to the voiceless. This is not a political channel, ladies and gentlemen. If you're just popping in here because I'm talking about Charlie Kirk, please know this is not a political channel. I am a detective that investigates SA. I can't say the words because YouTube will get me. And that is the focus of this channel. So keep that in mind, okay? Let's keep going.
His wife, Erica, and their two young children. And as people were fleeing the school, armed law enforcement officers, they were pouring in. They were going from building to building to help escort people to safety. And just before 9 p.m. Eastern time, school officials gave the all clear, saying there is no ongoing threat to the campus. Utah Valley University announced that classes were canceled, that the school will be closed until at least Monday. You know we've been on top of this story from the very, very beginning. And we're able to do that, by the way, because of our sponsor, Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, a firm with over 1,000 attorneys. You know why they're so big? Because they win a lot. They have recovered over $25 billion for more than 500,000 clients. Think about that. In the past few months, a client in Florida received $12 million after the insurance company offered just $3.
All right. So we'll end that there. We're not going to play the entire law and crime. We're not going to do them like that. Last time we did that, they did us dirty. They ended the stream. We got spanked. We got spanked, man. So we're not going to do that. We are not going to do that. All right. I'm just scrolling real quick, make sure I got everything. And then we shall call it a day. Okay. I don't think we got anything else. Okay. All right, guys. So if I get any more updates, I will come through, show you guys some love. A little bit later on tonight, me and my middle daughter, we're going to go see Demon Slayer. You guys ever heard of Demon Slayer? How many anime fans is in the building? Who knows what Demon Slayer is? Well, they got the world premiere of the new Demon Slayer movie. And Demon Slayer is like one of the most popular animes out there right now. And what they do is when they come out with a new season, they'll take like the first 2 or 3 episodes and make a movie out of it. And me and my daughter, we love sharing that with each other. I was trying to see if I could go cosplay, but by the time I bought the tickets and I just didn't have enough time to buy a costume. Yes, I am a bit of a geek, only when it's for my kids. Only when it's for my kids. So yes, we're going to go check out Demon Slayer a bit later. So if there are any updates in that time block where we're in the movies, you will not be getting an update from me. But when I get home, put the kids to bed. I will definitely come live and update you guys with anything new that has come out. But the most important thing is that we get justice for Charlie Kirk and his family. Charlie Kirk, not the political commentator. Charlie Kirk, the man. Charlie Kirk, the human being, deserves justice. His children deserves justice. His wife deserves justice. His parents deserve justice. That's what we're fighting for, right? So let's pray that we get this terrorist off the streets. Somebody said K-pop Demon Hunters. I loved that show. I loved it. K-pop Demon Hunters. Let's get this terrorist, I said it, off the streets. And young man, let's get his picture here again before I get out of here. Man, Lord of mercy. I'm scrolling up. I'll get there. Here we go. Brother, man, I hope that this was worth it. They are going to send you to the Supermax in Florence if they don't kill you first. I hope it was worth it. You had your whole life ahead of you. You're probably in your 20s or your early 30s, most probably in your 20s. You had your whole life. For all you know, your political beliefs and ideology would have changed when you got in your 30s and your 40s, as it does for most of us. Most of us start out one way, start out conservative, end up liberal, start out liberal, end up conservative. You didn't even give yourself time to grow. You didn't even give yourself time to mature. You didn't even give yourself time to live and truly experience this world. You threw it all away for ideology, man. What a waste. They're going to kill you, buddy. Either they're going to make you die in a cell, which is a slow death, or they're going to put the needle in your arm 15, 20 years from now. What a waste. Like and subscribe, join the channel. We'll see you guys on the next one. Strategic is out of here. Peace.